website online, and Lembit, forget it. Stay with Asgardia. Hello, everyone.
Welcome to this live broadcast from Asgardia as we take another great step forward in terms of our reach to the moon and beyond. I'm Lembit Topik, I'm the Chair of Parliament, and Lena.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lena de Winne, the Prime Minister of Asgardia. It's our delight to welcome you all here. We are in an extraordinary gathering celebrating this one-in-a-lifetime occasion, and joining us, colleagues, the civil servants, people who run Asgardia for you and with you. Today, we will be sharing all our thoughts and aspirations, and we are looking forward to celebrating this extraordinary, symbolic, but very important event in our lives.
Joining us today are representatives from the Parliament of Asgardia, and we'll explain how that works, and also from our government. Yes, you heard us right. We are the first fully functional digital democracy anywhere in the world and any time in the history of the world. Our mission objective across many years is to be the first fully functioning digital democracy in the history of the human race. Why? Because somebody has to organize the terms of reference for a society that can operate off Earth. That's why I am the chair of the Parliament. 150 people who work in what's called a unicameral, in other words, a one house system, in order to make sure that we have a democratic process which gets the minimum legislation necessary and the minimum decision-making necessary to have a peaceful and truly prosperous Asgardia, or essentially human society anywhere in space. Together with that, we've got 12 members of government, and Lena is the Prime Minister. Lena, what does your government do?
Oh, my government, of course, our government. I'm honored with the privilege to lead this group of extraordinary professionals. Government, as in any classic democracy, is an executive body in line with the legislation accepted by the Parliament, the legislative body of Asgardia. Government is implementing projects to make sure Asgardia is achieving its core goals. The mission of Asgardia is birth of the first human child in space. Today, unfortunately, our Minister of Science, Professor Dr. Floris Woutz, was not able to join us in person, but he sent his greetings. And let's hear from Floris Woutz, who will talk to us briefly about the scientific mission of Asgardia.
As Minister of Science of Asgardia, it is an honor at this special occasion to share with you that we are developing steps towards the main mission of Asgardia, being the birth of the first human child in space. We are focusing on 3 topics, scientific topics: space radiation protection, artificial gravity, and space embryology. In this last topic, we are achieving already several experiments about human fertility and human female physiology in isolation, and that in cooperation with IMBP. Apart from that, I can tell you that the study of artificial gravity, and that's what we do in the lab in Antwerp, at the University of Antwerp, studying artificial gravity is essential for mitigating the negative effects of microgravity on the human physiology. Therefore, I'm happy that we are approaching step by step the achievement of settlement of humans in space. Thank you.
Joining us from the launch site is our Minister of Culture, Cheryl Gallagher. She might not be able to show the video, but she's with us live from the location where everything is happening. Oh, Cheryl did manage to get the video live. How
Yeah.
exciting. Let's
Oh.
hear from our friends who are lucky enough to be there at Kennedy at the launch site. Cheryl.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Greetings,
Hello.
Cheryl. Minister
I know it
Cheryl.
looks like I'm in the middle of the pitch black darkness here, but actually I'm standing on Peacock Beach here in Cape Canaveral on a beautiful, cool, moonlit night.
Are you going for a swim?
Little too chilly for that. But it is beautiful here. And we're with a really fine group of intrepid individuals getting ready to watch this launch. And I'm so pleased that everybody's here to join us. So it's a great day.
Can you
Uh,
describe what you see, Cheryl?
Yes,
It sounds
we're
superficial, but it's quite exciting. I've
it's
never
very
been to
exciting.
I have been to Cape Canaveral, but I was 1 year old at the time. So remind me of what I would have seen.
Yes, well, we're actually the launch is happening on the north end of the American Space Force property. We are roughly 20 miles away, but that is not going to diminish the light and the noise of the launch that's imminent here now in just a little while. And it is, as I'm speaking, people are walking by, going to the beach to get ready to watch the big event.
I feel that I shouldn't be interviewing you. I think that your Prime Minister Lena should be doing that. But before I hand over to Lena, why don't you explain the background of how we got here?
Okay.
well,
Well, so tonight, credit for tonight's participation in this historic lunar launch started with Grant Blaisdell of Copernic Space and Ben Haldeman of LifeShip. And they offered us the opportunity to be able to send our national symbols as digital payload in the time capsule that they are hosting on the Blue Ghost 1.
Lena?
well, and I have to take this opportunity to congratulate Cheryl on this achievement because it was all her initiative and result of her work. As an artist, Cheryl is actually being very shy because she herself, as an artist who produces paintings and music, having her pieces fly to the moon. How is that for a symbol, fly me to the moon? And symbols, national symbols of Asgardia are going up with this live ship pyramid. I love the symbolic essence of the title, I have to say, because the pyramid, in a great sense, is something which is dear to all of us and resonates in the archetypical way with the great pyramids in Egypt. And now the live ship pyramid is something which will land in Mare Crisium, the area of the moon, which will then hopefully settle there and stay for long, long time. It's
Well,
23 minutes to the launch. So, Cheryl, how does it feel?
oh, it's amazing. And spending the evening with this group of very in-depth thinkers with regard to the future of space exploration and innovations in space. It's been extremely stimulating to spend time with people, including people that, as you spoke of, talking about radiation protection and all kinds of esoteric topics that led to other esoteric topics. So it's been a very stimulating evening, and I'm very happy to be here representing Asgardia on this historic day. And thank you
Just
for the compliment.
say mind-boggling. It's what I would be
I
saying if
know,
I were
right?
there.
And it does feel a little bit faded, doesn't it? So that part, meaning faded, FATED. So, now a group of us are headed to take our places on the beach and watch with you. And I'll be happy to share later how it felt to watch it go up. it's also, I have to point out that there's a number of Asgardians that contributed cultural assets besides myself. And of course, I'm extremely pleased and honored to be sending my own art into, to live on the moon. So just nothing more you can say. It's a momentous day.
There's something that you can say. How did we get to a situation where, happily, Asgardia, the world's first space nation, actually has some assets on a moon ship?
Yeah. And
And
so
don't be shy. Don't be shy now. I can hear in your tone you're going to be modest. Don't be modest.
Well, it's important in this, especially while, we're in a new era of exploration. And in this new period, collaboration and cooperation are even more important than they ever have been. And at the same time, the ability for wide varieties of people, the whole point is to open up space for all. And that's another area of interest that I enjoy working in, is keeping space an opportunity for all people everywhere.
That's why you've done it. But how did you do it? How did you get Asgardia to be one of the assets on this moonshot?
So Grant Blaisdell offered me the space, and originally it was because I was the one of the first artists to sell space art on his platform Spaceables, and it was meaningful to him to have me here today to celebrate this event. And he offered me space to put to submit my art for this project. And I put the national symbols in there.
You're still being really modest, actually.
Somebody else will have to boast about me. I'm not great at boasting about myself. Somebody else will have to boast.
For the benefit of the world.
Boast about me.
For the benefit of the world, I'm going to ask the Prime Minister to celebrate Cheryl's achievement, and after that, I'm going to go to John Fine to do a shameless advert for Asgardia.
Well, I think this whole launch to an extent is a celebration of Cheryl's achievement, and she knows that. We'll applaud her effort. That was a project indeed initiated and led by her, and it's great that she's the one on the pinnacle representing Asgardia at the launch site. When we talk about national assets, I would like to remind everyone that we have the national anthem and the coat of arms of Asgardia and the national flag, of course. And those were developed at the very onset of Asgardia by Asgardians, people who submitted their ideas. And there was a nationwide competition where the winners were selected, and then artists finalized the design of the coat of arms and the national flag. And the national anthem was also designed by, or rather, verse were written and the music were written by a professional musician who is an Asgardian, and he volunteered his work to Asgardia. These all can be found on the website asgardia.space for all those interested. I think also this is a good opportunity to mention to everybody where we have more people here who have some interesting things to tell you. We have Asgardia Space Nation TV. Some of you might be watching broadcasts, which are online, also can be found on our website. And before we ask Dan Profir, who runs the Asgardia Space Nation TV, we would like to play the song. The song was also written for the Asgardia Space Nation TV. I find it personally very inspirational. It's a particular pleasure to have it presented here. And after it's presented, for which I ask my colleagues to do now, I will ask Dan just to say a couple of more words about the broadcast, the podcast.
Turn your gaze to the night, a blanket of stars. We're setting our sights on worlds near and far. With every conversation, we're breaking new ground. In the heart of exploration, our dreams are profound. From Mars to the cosmos, we'll make our stand, unraveling mysteries with a hopeful hand. We're joined by the dreamers, the pioneers of fate. Together we'll chart what awaits us in space. On the highway to space, we'll soar ever high. With our hearts full of wonder, let's reach for the sky. In this journey together, we're lighting the way. The future of exploring is ours here today. With astronauts guiding and artists in tow, scientists dreaming where the wild comets flow. Each guest tells a story, each voice adds a spark, as we forge our path through the shadows and dark. The search for new life and the tales yet untold. In the theater of space, our adventures unfold, inspiring the youth with stars in their eyes. The next generation will claim their own skies. On the highway to space, we'll soar ever high. With our hearts full of wonder, let's reach for the sky. In this journey together, we're lighting the way. The future of exploring is ours here today.
I think we'll go to Cheryl to do that introduction if
But
she's still
ah,
live.
I don't know because Cheryl switched off.
Cheryl, can you hear us?
Then, but you're the
Yes, I
moderator.
can. I can, but I don't have a light on me right now.
That's okay.
But you know what? I can see the new Glen, and the new Glen's going up tomorrow.
Rebecca, tell us when we're back on.
Well, Glenn is still connecting. Grant is still connecting to audio.
Welcome back. This is exciting. Couple of things. If you're watching the video, you can see that I'm the one person who didn't have the technical competence to have the right background, for which I apologize. There's a very simple reason for that. I'm just not the person who should be responsible for mission control. Meanwhile, we've got Cheryl in the darkness. I'm going to take a risk now, Cheryl. I'm not sure we've got a very important person, a VIP, with us yet. But Cheryl, tell us about Grant. Who is Grant? And why do we hope he's going to be involved in this chat?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I'm sure you can't see me. You can maybe see my watch here. See? I wish that the beauty of the moonlit night on the beach was able to be seen in this light. But what I can say is, Grant Blaisdell is attempting to democratize the space economy through the creation of actual ownership of space assets by the general public, as well as the states that are interested. And they're looking at novel approaches to blockchain technology and coin formation. There was a lot of discussion about that tonight at dinner, about these innovative possibilities that lead in an economic direction for the future of space exploration, and the concept of space assets on the moon. And he has a number of platforms that include a space art NFT platform, which is how I was introduced to him, and by another Asgardian. And he's really impressed me with the hard work that he's doing, the comprehensive global conversations that he's having with regard to revolutionizing space economy. And we all get to participate, which is a remarkable feat. It's part of what makes tonight possible for us.
How did you convince Grant? I'm not sure. I think Grant's here now. In which case, Grant, Welcome. I'm Len Batopic. We've got Lena De Winner, the Prime Minister. You're in the company of greatness, but we're in the company of the greatest, which is you. So thank you,
Well,
Grant.
that's very flattering. Thank you very much, and thank you for having me and the support of individual members inside Asgardia and Asgardia as a whole. So hello to everyone I don't know yet, but I recognize almost all the faces here for sure. So thank you for having me once again. I'm kind of doubling up right now, hosting our live spaces and events while talking to you guys. So I'm happy to, kind of bring this all together and of course, see things we've been talking about together for a while now come to fruition through this historic moment. So thank you for sharing it with me and inviting myself here. The rest of the team and a lot of our partners and members, including Cheryl, are literally right now at Cape Canaveral getting ready to watch it. So I'm here in the back room in the operating room, making sure the engine wheels are turning.
Uh, it's a very exciting moment. Before I throw across to Lena, can you just remind us of the timetable if it all goes well?
Oh, so it should launch at 1:11 a.m. Eastern, time of the United States. It is going to take a little over a month for it to land. So, one thing that I learned about this is like this isn't okay, you just go straight to the moon, right? So it takes a couple weeks to get into orbit of the moon. Then it's going to orbit the moon for about 2 weeks before, and when I say it, that's Firefly's Blue Ghost lunar lander. That's their Blue Ghost 1 mission that will then hopefully land on the lunar surface. So it's a NASA, associated CLIPS project, but within it, there's a couple commercial payloads. And within that, that includes us and you guys as well. So what we revolutionized, with this mission is not only the concept of how to enable broader commercial access to missions, space in general, space assets, what we call them, but in this case, lunar missions. But not only that, kind of the holy grail is verifying and turning the assets that entities are sending into space assets and creating a marketplace for that. So the space economy has discovery, capability to become more scalable and transactional, and provide a marketplace that connects the millions of individuals, companies, investors, et cetera, that want or can benefit from access to that market. And in our viewpoint, Asgardia is one of the countless examples and use cases that fulfills the meaning of our existence as a company and as a platform. So thank you.
So you're a commercial venture, and I got one serious question and one stupid question. Seriously speaking, this isn't this isn't the last launch you're planning. You got other launches planned as well, Grant?
Yeah, correct. So because the market is so young and immature in some ways, where we see the opportunity or we feel it's really important to prove some sort of standard that we want to set for the industry, we'll take that on, right? So once again, this is a case where we're doing that. And we're planning to put together actually a celebration at Kennedy Space Center beginning of next month with some partners to celebrate this mission, but the other reason is to announce the second mission, which is scheduled for end of this year, which will be hardware, so physical as well as digital, as well as we shall see maybe data assets. That's another standard we're going to be working on this year called the data standard, where it relates whether it's satellite imagery and data to data being collected on the lunar surface, like will be in this case, There's an industry standard to tokenize that, turn those into assets, and provide a marketplace that provides broader access to space-related data. So yes, this is just Moon Mission 1. I mean, long term, as we help the market scale, long term, it will be, we're hosting 10 different missions being sold on the marketplace all at once, and maybe one of them is ours, right? But we're here to scale the market, so most of the time it won't be our stuff. But thank you for asking that, because yes, that's a big deal we're working on at the moment as well.
We'll go back to Lena in a minute, but my fatuous question is, are you launching at night because it's cheaper?
We don't control that. So actually, if I could have my way and there was any decision point around this that I could influence, I'd ask for it a little bit earlier than 1:11 a.m. For me, I'm in Europe right now, so I had to get up, at 6 or something like that. And I'm not an early guy either. So I think for the logistics and the marketeer in me, the marketing guy in me, a few hours earlier would have been nice.
Lena isn't a perfect part of the world. I think Central Europe, a little bit east of that. Lena, your witness.
Well, in that case, if we're doing stupid comments, then I can say I can outsmart you on being stupid. It's good at night, it's good to launch when we fly to the sun, so it doesn't get so hot.
I was thinking of saying that, but all right, you have that one for free. So we, by the way, at some point somebody needs to break in when we get to the actual launch time. I don't want to
5 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go.
Is it? Are we still on? I can't see here in my studio. Are we still on schedule, Grant, to launch at 11 minutes past?
I haven't heard or seen anything to say otherwise. If I don't know if any of you have or anyone watching have participated in a launch previously, but they tend to move around sometimes at the last moment. So, I of course wanted to launch on time, but I'm not going to get frazzled if it doesn't. So I'm sorry, Lena, what was the question again?
No, it was just a stupid comment. I wanted
Okay.
to out stupid Lambert on commenting.
It reminded me of an old Polish joke. I'm half Polish, so I can say this, which is the Poles said that they're gonna, launch the first mission to the sun, and people said, "But how? You're gonna burn?" They said, "Okay, well, we're gonna launch at night." So
But
there you go.
It's pretty much the same joke. Go on later. Sorry.
It's exactly what I said. I just made it universal because human stupidity I think it's an Einstein's phrase that people can be dead or can be stupid, but stupid is more permanent. And well, it's 4 minutes 17 to the launch, but indeed sometimes the pause is at 10 seconds to go, so we never know. Those who joined us also to listen about Asgardia things we promised to tell you about. You see, we just go with the conversation as it flows, and I find it fantastic, actually, the way it flows. We have so many surprise guests who managed to join us. So we will stay longer either way. So everything we promised to tell you about, we will tell you about whenever it's matching into today's schedule. And it's, of course, great that we have Grant and Cheryl who can be with us. We didn't know until the last moment if it technically will be possible. And of course, having
We'll
live
see.
guests.
We'll see. We got, this is Lady Rock. Oh, you can't see it when I put it up to the camera, but we got Lady Rocket right now live on video, who's my co-founder and my mother as well. So also, let you guys know, happy to do a session like this with you guys after the launch, etc., during the process of it, as obviously this is all crunched in at this kind of, short sort of time frame. And I got to get back to my community here in a moment, but happy to, answer any sort of last question or, congratulate Asgardia as well in this. And I'm sure Cheryl and I will come out and talk more about, what's going up, what's happening next.
Before you go, last question. When's it meant to land?
Beginning of March, I believe. First week of March is set to land. So that's why we're not forcing ourselves to strategically kind of do everything all at once on launch date, but take this time frame to help build up some more momentum so that when it does land and we can open up the marketplace eventually, that there's some kind of coordinated movement behind it, which I look forward to you guys and your clan who's watching, and even those who are not, to join us in that.
Thanks for joining us, and good luck. We'll let you go now. Don't mess up. Make sure you got the right matches to light the fire.
I'm good. I'm good. I appreciate it, guys. I got a lot of experience with that. So,
Thank you, Grant.
pleasure. Thank
Thank you.
you.
It's 2 minutes to go. I suggest we now switch to NASA TV because uh, you can see the fire being lit, literally. So I suggest colleagues switch our broadcast to NASA TV, and we keep here our fingers crossed that the countdown stays intact. And if it pauses, we will be back sooner. And if it goes to schedule for which we're all hoping, we will see you back after a few minutes after it's successfully launched and in the orbit. Dear colleagues, we switch to NASA TV and watch this exciting launch.
Now that propellant loading is complete, we should begin to see venting coming from the transporter erector. That is just clearing out those propellant lines from the TE in preparation for liftoff.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Third call out. This means that the Falcon vehicle's internal flight computers have taken over the launch countdown. We're now just waiting for the final go from the launch director.
LD, go for launch.
And great news, we are go for launch, so let's watch as Falcon 9 takes our 2 lunar payloads out to space.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 15. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff. Go Firefly, go Aerospace, go Falcon. Vehicles pitching downrange.
T plus 30 seconds into launch, Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Launch Complex 39A at Kennedy Space Center. Now the vehicle is going vertically, but it will begin to move horizontally. We're going to gimbal
Falcon
those.
9, power and telemetry are nominal.
We're going to gimbal those engines. We're still going up, but now
Engine air pressure is nominal.
now
Vehicle
we will
is supersonic.
be moving horizontally, and that helps the vehicle get into orbit and avoid being pulled back down to Earth. Now we are coming up on max Q. This is the largest structural load that the vehicle will see during ascent.
Max Q.
There's that call out. We've passed through max Q. And we do have a few events coming up in quick succession. That'll be MECO, stage separation, and SES-1. MECO is main engine cutoff, and that's where we will shut down all 9 of those M1D engines that you see there burning bright on your screen. That prepares the vehicle for stage separation. That's when the first and second stages separate from each other, and the first stage will begin to make its way back down to Earth, while the second stage carries the payloads and continues with its journey with SES-1, or second stage engine start 1. And that's where we will ignite the MVAC engine on the second stage. And shortly afterwards, we will have SECO, where the vehicle will coast. So we are coming up on those 3 events that I just mentioned, MECO, stage separation, and SES-1 in just about 20 seconds from now. Some really cool tracking views here of Falcon 9 and those 9 Merlin M1D engines burning bright there.
MECO. Stage separation confirmed. MVAC ignition.
And great views. We watched as we shut down those 9 Merlin M1D engines, stage separation, and now you can see there on your screen that MVAC engine has ignited, again carrying the 2 lunar landers aboard Falcon 9's second stage. And there on your left-hand screen, you can see that the first stage is deploying its grid fins. Those hypersonic grid fins will help guide the vehicle back down to Earth. And in about 15 seconds or so, we will also have fairing deploy. We have the fairing protecting the payloads through ascent. But once we're in the vacuum of space, we no longer need that protection, so we will jettison those fairing halves.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And a really cool view of the payloads encapsulated in those fairing halves, the fairing halves deploying. We will once again attempt to retrieve these fairing halves once they make their way back down to Earth. And in a few minutes, we will also have a couple more burns for our first stage to prepare it for landing on our drone ship. Just read the instructions. Now we are T plus 4 minutes and 10 seconds into today's mission. We're currently in the first of 3 planned MVAC burns. Around T plus 6 minutes, you should see on your screen the first stage's entry burn. Now that entry burn is where we ignite 3 of the Merlin M1D engines, and that's going to be the E9 engine plus the E1 and E5 engines. Now that helps slow the vehicle down as it's re-entering back into the Earth's atmosphere. Now, the reason why we slow down the vehicle is to reduce the re-entry forces, which helps us recover and reuse the first stage booster. So far, everything is looking nominal. Stage 2 still carrying our lunar payload and on a nominal trajectory. Now again, the first stage vehicle is making its way back down to Earth. We're about 45 seconds away from the entry burn beginning. And just as a reminder, the first stage booster that is supporting today's mission will perform this entry burn for the 5th time. Falcon 9 is the world's first orbital class rocket, reusable rocket, and this is important because reusability allows SpaceX to refly the most expensive parts of the rocket, which in turn drives down the cost of space access. So we do have that entry burn coming up just about 10 seconds. Again, that will be 3 engines reigniting for just about 20 seconds or so.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
Stage 1 FTS is saved.
There's that call out, and on your left-hand screen, you can see that those engines have ignited. Again, helping to slow down the Falcon 9 booster as it's making its way back down to Earth.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
And there we heard the call out as well. As you can see that the engines have shut down. That concludes the entry burn for the Falcon booster. Coming up next in about 1 minute will be SECO. That is second stage engine cutoff. And that'll basically be where we shut down that MVAC engine and allow the second stage to coast with the payloads.
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance.
As the vehicle is making its way towards its targeted drop-off orbit for each of the lunar landers. And just shortly after we have SECO, we'll also have the landing burn start up on the booster. So we will have a couple events happening back to back.
Stage 2 FTS is saved.
Stage 1 transonic.
For the landing burn, we reignite the center E9 engine. And again, that slows the vehicle down just in time to touch down for landing. And we have SECO 1 coming up, as well as a landing burn in just a few seconds.
SECO.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Nominal orbit insertion.
And a cool view of first stage, touching down for landing.
Landing leg deployed. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And there you could see on your screen, the Falcon has landed on Just Read the Instructions. That marks SpaceX's 398th recovery of an orbital class rocket, and that includes first stage landings for Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy. Now we're just waiting for confirmation of good orbit. Again, we have had SECO, that is second engine cutoff 1 for that MVAC engine. And we are just waiting to confirm good orbital insertion.
Bravo!
Well said, Ariadne. If only you were up
Yes.
there.
Bravo in Spanish, yes. Wonderful, successful. Woohoo!
Well, Rebecca, let's stay with this for a bit, and then we'll come back to the team.
Good orbital insertion. Now the mission isn't over just yet. Coming up next, we have the second burn of our MVAC engine, or SES2, on board the second stage around T plus 58 minutes. So in an hour, will be followed by payload deploy. So until then, we're going to send it back over to you, Daryl, at KFC.
All right, thank you very much.
Right, welcome back. This is Asgardia. Welcome all over the world. We can take full credit for this launch. Actually, I'm the Chair of Parliament, and we have Lena Duwina, the Prime Minister of Asgardia, the world's first space nation. But Cheryl, our person live at Cape Canaveral, tell us what you saw.
Oh, of course, it was hard not to just completely collapse into tears. The rocket passed right over my head, right over the beach. And it was an amazing moment for me. It's just so remarkable.
First of all, just for those who've just joined us, Cheryl is the progenitor, the creator of our presence, literally in space right now. Cheryl's the Minister for Culture for Asgardia, the world's first space nation, one of 12 ministers. We'll hear from the Prime Minister in just a minute. Cheryl, just describe, if you can, I'll put you under pressure now, describe, if you can, being 20 miles away, 36 kilometers away from the launch, what did you see?
Well, the sky here, it's just a little bit misty, so there was a growing bright halo of light over the beach in the distance, and then we saw the yellow flames of the rocket heading up into the sky, and it just arced right over the group of us here on its journey into space. So, to me, it's like this is just such a powerful moment in history, in human history, not just Asgardian history, because of the nature of what we're trying to achieve here in Asgardia. And so, it's such an honor and privilege to, be here to witness it in person. It's just an amazing experience. And if anyone in the audience wishes to come see a launch, you can be equally impressed, but not as impressed as I am right now with what is happening here today.
I can hear the emotion in your voice. I'm not going to lie. I feel really moved by what we've just seen. And it's thanks to you that for the first time in the history of the human race, our species is sending a representative sample of the world's first space nation, a nation which will never have an army, but will have an army of intellect and hope to the moon. And that's all thanks to you, Cheryl. It's all thanks to you. Let's go to,
Thank you,
well,
kindly.
I know that'll make you quite moved. So let's move to Lena. Lena, this is thanks to your minister.
I know, and we're all so proud in the cabinet. So Cheryl, how long can you still stay with us? You were not sure about the connectivity on the beach.
Yes, I'm sorry about the lighting situation, but I'm going to stay here for a few more minutes. I'm waiting for I'm waiting to hear that everything's completely, successful, and then.
As far as we understood from the NASA broadcast, the next point is in about 58 minutes from when they paused to see how the further deployment is going. So we, for now, are planning to discuss some Asgardia affairs. That was what was planned for today's meeting. So everybody who joined us to hear, not only to watch the launch and share this extraordinary, exciting moment with us, but also to catch up with us on how Asgardia lives, your Asgardia. This is the chance. We will be talking now to the colleagues who are present online, and we'll be hearing from some others who have sent their greetings in advance. So Lambert, I believe, okay, all the plan as it's supposed to be at the launch has changed around several times. So that's good. It's a good launch when things change around. So let's go to your original plan. I believe in your original plan. The next person to talk was John Fine.
That's right. Let's let Cheryl get off the hook for a bit. I share Cheryl's emotions. I was really moved by what we've seen. We've talked about this for about 6 months, and just let's remember that the next launch that concerns us will actually have the DNA, literally the DNA of Asgardians going to the moon. And this is all thanks to Cheryl Gallagher and her vision. Let's go to John Fine next. John, tell us what you do and tell us what you think. And good morning to you. Thanks for getting out. Thanks for staying up, I guess. I guess you haven't had any sleep.
No, well, I got a little cat nap in, so I got a little bit of sleep.
Well, during the launch. Tell viewers about your role as a chair. A chair of what and why? And what do you think about this launch?
Well, this is an exciting time as Asgardia makes another leap into the space frontier.
Just joining us, we are
where our national symbols are going into space. And of course, I'm here representing the legislative branch of Asgardia. I am the chair of the Trade and Commerce Committee, but I'm also the chair of a new initiative that's also a new frontier for Asgardia, which is called the Legislative Merit Review Group. And this review group is a very forward-thinking, future-proofing legislative group, of course, created by Asgardia's leadership. And I'm really excited about that, just about as much as I was excited about this launch today. There's actually 2 more launches that I'm going to be watching after this that are going to be very exciting as well. But this legislative group, I think, is going to really put Asgardia into another frontier of producing some quality legislation and, like I said, future proofing and forward thinking legislation. So,
And,
but
and you're the only person, I think, we'll go back to Lena and then one of her ministers in a minute. You're the only person that actually is qualified to be here, aren't you, John?
well, I don't know. I'm not sure. Well, as a space fan, yes. No, I think everybody is qualified to be here.
But you're studying to be a legislator. So we need to send you to the moon before we arrive so that you can get some laws done.
Oh yeah, so we can get some of them. Yeah, because I tell you, we really do need to get our space laws updated. They haven't been updated since what I think the '60s, um, something like that. And yeah, that there really needs to be some effort put into the space laws of Earth and getting those updated because they. It's going to start getting congested up there. And if you don't have some kind of gatekeeper up there to kind of keep things, I'd always visioned that Asgardia would be that gatekeeper to try to keep things copacetic between space and Earth. But and we may yet still be that gatekeeper, but we need, and right now the only thing we have right now is our laws, um, and so those need to be updated to bring us to today's uh, paradigm of what's going on in space. Because today's space is a whole lot different than it was back when the Outer Space Treaty was signed and all them other things were done.
Well,
so
we have our laws and we have you, John, and you're a priceless asset in the process. I'm going to go back to Lena, who'll introduce one of our ministers in just a minute, and then after that, Sarah, be on standby. After we've spoken to minister, you're next, and also, of course, you see here. I've now realized this is quite helpful. This is one of the key emblems of Asgardia. That is going to the moon, and that's thanks to Cheryl.
yeah,
Lena, go on, John.
well, you know what's interesting about that symbol is I was watching live ships live feed, and that symbol I actually saw they showed all the data that was going. I saw Asgardia's data on there, but they had this little main component that was on there, and it actually had that life symbol. Of course, it was the original symbol with all the circles, but yeah, it was actually on there. I was like, hey, look at there, So it was pretty cool.
I'd like to say that was my idea, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I would love to say
Cheryl's
that.
idea. Lena, who do you want to introduce?
Well, I first would like to remind that, of course, we can quickly look back into basics. So this symbol, the flower of life, was introduced originally by Dr. Igor Ashurbeli, the founder and the head of nation of Asgardia. It's due to his vision that Asgardia was founded in 2016. And apart from its national symbols, it also has its calendar, which started with the formation of Asgardia. And now we have just entered the year 0009. So the head of nation of Asgardia, the founding father, Dr. Igor Ashurbeli, is the one who is the mastermind and the inspiration behind everything what is happening here with us today.
We do have one problem. In 10,000 years, we're going to have to add another zero to our calendar, but that won't be my problem. Who do you want to introduce, Lena? You've got
well,
some
now that
fine
you are
ministers.
talking,
Go on, sorry.
now that you are talking about the adding zeros, I still want once again to emphasize that the core mission of achieving birth of the first human child in space was introduced by Dr. Ashurbeli 2 years into the life of Asgardia. And the purpose of this mission is to ensure survival of the human life in space, irrespective of the possibility for humans to live on the surface of planet Earth. Unfortunately, we are not so far the most intelligent species, and we are doing harm to ourselves. And also, ultimately, even if we manage to survive, which is not a given, the crown of the sun in some billion years would expand to the dimension which might make life on Earth unlivable. For the humans to survive forever, they need to be able to live in the universe no matter what. And that's the purpose of Asgardia, actually, the core mission, survival of humanity in the universe in eternity. And this is the mission the whole Asgardia is working towards under the leadership of Dr. Shurbeli. Now that we have touched base on the basics, I will go back to Dan Profir. We almost did that, but then flexibility of the flight took over. We already have heard the song, which was designed specially for Asgardia National TV. And in the follow-up of that, I would like Dan to say a few words about the podcast, which is already running.
Yes, thank you very much, Prime Minister. And it's indeed a very emotional and great day today to be witnessing this great event. I would say historic event without, measuring my words. That's what it is. Highway to Space is the podcast I have launched in October last year with the intention to explore cutting-edge developments in astronautics by featuring world-renowned experts in astronautics and related fields, making it an essential watch for anyone eager to delve into the future of space exploration, its rich traditions and current challenges. The podcast hosts a wide range of guests, including astronauts, scientists, IT and AI specialists, lawyers, space lawyers, and as well artists like Cheryl and writers. And together we are examining the latest technological breakthroughs, the challenges the industry faces, and obviously the limitless possibilities of space exploration. As I said, I think it's important to open up to what happens on Earth, to what other human beings are doing towards the space exploration future, and to include Asgardia as an active member to that. So please watch, like, subscribe, and disseminate and share. It's a cheap and easy way to make Asgardia known out there in the world.
Thank you, Dan. And in the meantime, I see comments in our internal chat from the colleagues that they find the song of Highway to Space amazing. Again, round of applause to Dan for creating this piece of art. Everything is about art today, art and space. I love that. Two things, and sports, culture, sports, and space are the things which unite humanity despite of what's happening in the world. Lambert?
Thank you, Lena. Thank you, Dan. I was honored to be interviewed in this very studio from which I join you this morning by Dan Profir and his team. And I really absolutely recommend Highway to Space as compulsive, necessary viewing for anyone who is inspired. Before we go to Sarah Clark, who is a parliamentarian and chair of one of our committees, Cheryl, can you confirm, if you know, is the next event in space at T+58 from launch, which would be 32 minutes from now, Cheryl? Not sure if Cheryl can hear us. This is the miracle of live broadcasting. I think I'm going to answer my own question. I think the next stage on our journey to the moon will be at T+58, and that's, I think, from the point of launch, which will be in 31 minutes. Before then, Sarah, do you want to talk for 31 minutes about what you do?
Absolutely not.
Sarah, you're chair of a committee. Two questions for you. What's it mean to be chair of a committee? Is this just a bunch of Trekkies having fun, or are we actually doing something serious? And secondly, what are your ambitions as chair of a committee for this thing called Asgardia?
Well, we are absolutely not a group of Trekkies. I think we have really, really important work ahead of us. The, I mean, this launch this evening was just really one step in a journey of like both big and small steps. And really as a parliamentarian, that's what we do. You know, every day, every piece of legislation, we're taking a step forward to really not only bring like Dr. Astra Bailey's vision of the first human born in space, but to, I think, really, um, as cliche as it may sound, like just to bring the world together in an organization that truly like knows no borders, and is really trying to do good and to do well. We have big dreams. You know, we like to push boundaries, inspire others, and I think that this launch really represents that spirit. But as far as what we do as chairs of committees, we have 150 amazing parliamentarians that just represent an incredible brain trust of, you know, knowledge and experience. And we have 12 committees. I am the chair of the Finance Committee. And right now we are working very, very hard. Every member of the committee is working very hard to draft essential tax legislation to help catapult Asgardia's not only our mission, but you know, our space in business and in the world. So it's we have important work to do.
You also organized for the sun to do a total solar eclipse in Dallas, which I came to. How did you organize the sun to do that?
A little bit of luck and a lot of stubbornness, I would guess. No, just it's a joke, bad joke. We did have an eclipse event in Dallas. We had a total eclipse. So many Asgardians were able to come, you know, from overseas and on all over the United States, and we had hundreds of people show up. So it was amazing to share that, you know, that like-mindedness.
I counted. I was there, and you did an absolutely superb job of being there. John Fine, who we heard from before, was there as well, and many others. It was really a remarkable thing, and the way, one thing I recall is that all the birds went silent. Everything went silent whenever there was a full eclipse, and credit to you for having organized such a great event. I don't know if you feel this, but I was very moved at the time, and I was just moved at seeing the launch as well. If we are successful, Sarah, what do you think Asgardia will have contributed to the progress of the human race, say, in 50 years' time?
In 50 years' time, we will absolutely have contributed, I think, just monumentally in and not only like the research and the proliferation of humans in space, but also just the ability to like to demonstrate that you know, a group of individuals, no matter where they're from on Earth, can come together in just with one vision and with one passion and make that incredibly successful. And I mean, that is not only like attributed to you, Prime Minister, and our ministers and our parliamentarians, but absolutely to Dr. Asher Bailey and his vision.
It was thanks to Dr. Asher Bailey and his investment of time and money that we're here today with representatives live in terms of Asgardia, from America to Europe to South Africa as well. I see my very good friend Ben Dell there. Thank you, Sarah. We'll go to Lena again, the Prime Minister, and one of her ministers. And after that, I warn Ariadne there in South America. I'll be asking her some questions. But back to you, Lena.
We are 26 into the launch and the flight is all good. I'm also kind of half monitoring NASA TV. So we will be going back to NASA TV when there is a next significant event. Colleagues are monitoring that. And in the meantime, I would like to ask Ben Dell, the Minister of Trade and Manufacturing, to say a few words to our viewers about the business development in Asgardia and how you can become a part of ecosystem of business structure in Asgardia.
Good day, Prime Minister, Chair of Parliament, members of Parliament, ministers, and everybody that's listening and watching. It's a super exciting event. This is definitely one of the highlights of 2025 for me. So far and into the future, as far as I can see, unless we are launching more, which I'm not aware of. So this is very, very exciting. Yes, so the Minister of Manufacturing is here, Jacob Mulder. Good morning, how are you doing? I'm involved in trying to drum up business to operate in Asgardia, the same way that we as Asgardians operate in Asgardia, with complete equality, no distinction between any Asgardians, no distinction between businesses. Obviously, any business operating in Asgardia has got to conform and follow the supreme values of Asgardia, which are detailed in our constitution. And I'm very glad to say that one of the main players of this launch, LifeShip, is actually registered as a business in Asgardia. And they also give discounts to Asgardians that want to send their DNA on LifeShip missions. So anybody that wants to send the DNA on a LifeShip mission, go to asgardia.trade and go and look at the registered companies, and you will find a link there on LifeShip's advert where you can qualify for a discount on sending your DNA to the moon. I'm very happy to work with John Fine. John Fine is the person that makes the legislation, and I'm the person that executes that legislation. So we've got a very nice separation of powers in Asgardia. We've got elected and appointed people that legislate and execute, and it makes sure that we follow the will of Asgardians in what we do. So we've got quite a few businesses registered in Asgardia. We've got, and I'm happy to say that I believe that Ben's registration of LifeShip and our interactions did contribute a very small bit towards people meeting each other and then doing this fantastic event. So yeah, I believe that there's business value in registering in Asgardia as your business. There's business value in creating relationships in Asgardia, and not just relationships that benefit Asgardia, but also businesses and yourself. Very soon we will hopefully have people applying for jobs registered in Asgardia, and Asgardians earning income via jobs and business opportunities from businesses that are presenting themselves to Asgardians. So the economy is obviously part of what we need to keep everything going, and the more people that interact with each other, the bigger our economy becomes. I must say thank you very much to Lambert for his dedication to making Asgardia a reality, to take Dr. Asher Bailey's vision and turn it into a reality where we can all be involved in. I think this is your second term as Chair of Parliament, and I can't imagine not having you around. Your history, your background, your personal history, your family history, and also your interaction with Asgardia is of supreme value to us. And then obviously, I'm very glad to serve with my Prime Minister, Lena de Win, because she's not just an administrator. She comes from a space environment background, So she knows what she's talking about. It keeps us, let's say, spaced or grounded, so that our ideas don't fly away with us, but gets anchored in reality for what we can do and what we must do, following the obvious guidelines coming from the head of nation, which currently is our main priority: first child born in space. Without that, we can't become a space nation, a space civilization. We can become a space nation, but we can't become a space civilization if we cannot birth children off Earth. So I think it's one of the most crucial aspects of scientific research and scientific endeavors, which is currently taking place in the world, is birthing children off Earth. Nothing else can top that at this point in time. So Asgardians and everybody that supports Asgardia, thank you very much. Even my cat supports Asgardia. It's raining outside and he's coming to me for some attention. So thank you very much, everybody. And Lena, thank you very much for giving me this chance to speak.
Thank you, Ben. So everybody, you are welcome to address Ministry of Trade to see how you can operate your business in the ecosystem of Asgardia. Lambert.
Thank you. Good to see you again, Ben. And thanks for your kind words to myself and also Lena. When I was 15, if somebody could have told me that I could one time say, oh, I'm chair of parliament for the world's first space nation, I'd have given anything for that. It's so cool. I really like it. It's great to see you. My probably worst experience as chair of parliament of Asgardia, it was actually because of Ben Dell. When I went to see him in South Africa in Cape Town, and there were no plugs in the baths. I'll never forget that. I'm scarred for life, Ben. And maybe I'll come back one day. I think it's been not just raining, but snowing where you are. So that's good to see you. I see Cheryl. I see Cheryl there in the light. Let's go back to Cheryl before we go to Ariadne. Cheryl has suddenly got very light there. Where are you?
I've made it back to where I'm staying. That's where I disappeared to. The activity was finished on the beach and we headed back to home. So yeah, it's lovely to be here with everybody. It's such a happy moment for all of us. It's a pleasure to be together like this and at this time.
I have the feeling that you were in some time warp back to 1969, and there were hippies sitting on top of camper vans and everything else, and everything else. What was the atmosphere like on the beach, Cheryl?
Oh, so much. You know, some people were just very, actually very reverent, very present to the special opportunity to watch something like this, and then other people, you know, were. You know, there was a number of us that were all live with our people. You know, we were so it was it's just like when you're together with a group like that, and it's just such a momentous event. It's just very, very moving, as you would know. So you know, thank you all for being here and all the hard work that you do for Asgardia. And I'm happy that we made it all the way to here. It's been a long process, maybe about a year that we've been working on this project, and it all went very beautifully.
In fact, Cheryl, I'll have to credit you. This is your vision, and you've done it. I see on the screen that the work that you've done has taken Asgardia's memorabilia, Asgardia's symbols of nation, 186 kilometers above the Earth, 26,500 kilometers per hour. although the average speed to the moon is about 200 miles per hour. I understand, maybe even a bit less than that. It's a really moving thing. I heard it in your voice before, Cheryl, and it's so exciting
It's
what you've
like, that's
done.
the thing. It's like you can't say very much more than that. It's just so exciting and so yeah, I have a passion for history, and I'm happy to be helping us all make it.
Somebody who embraces the soul of Asgardia and the feelings of Asgardia is our next guest, Ariadne, who is down in South America. Tell us where you are, Ariadne, and tell us how you feel at this moment. And sometimes I watch television and I think, oh, why do people ask that question? Well, I do ask how you're feeling, but it's appropriate today because we're talking about emotions of an entire society. Ariadne.
Thank you very much. Well, for a stranger that you think I'm living in the North America, in the North. Yes, it's a part. And I'm living so close to the Gulf of Mexico. Yes. Well, I feel so happy because this moment is it's a dream for all of us to stay in a place out of the earth. That's wonderful. And I'm thinking in the ancient cultures, they think that the moon always represents the nutritious mother and the place of the, we are nothing without the moon, because the moon helped us to live here for many, many years. And that's wonderful. People, when wants to create a nutritious harvest, thinking, oh, the moon is there. The moon is remarkable for sowers. And that's wonderful, because we are sowers with the culture of Asgardia. Asgardia disseminate in many places of the world the idea of new knowledge, of philosophy, to create the unity of the humanity. And now we are create that because Cheryl Gallagher thinking the strategy to arrive to the moon with the symbols, the national symbols of Asgardia. And I'm thinking in my photograph with the telescope, because this is the photograph that I sent. And many people is waiting to see the future in other places outside the earth, to protect the earth and to know, to understand the know-how to protect other places out the earth. That's wonderful. I like it. I like it so much. And the Merry Christmas, I don't know if the name is correct or not, but it's not a Christ for us. It's a song of the humanity that we are. That's wonderful. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
for this
Ariadne.
opportunity.
You're here because you have such heart and spirit. You've been here from the start, and you'll be here for many years to come. Cheryl, I'm going to ask you to do two things. First of all, maybe reply to Ariadne, and also, I don't know if you can clarify this. I think the next significant event in this mission will be in T+58 from launch. I don't know if you know the answer to that question. Maybe we'll start with that. Is the next burn, is the next beginning of the next stage in 11 minutes, Cheryl?
I'm actually not in, I don't see the next feed, so someone else might have to answer that question.
Okay.
But in response to what Ariadne was saying, actually there was quite a bit of the people that were here celebrating the launch. there was a lot of conversation about the importance of the moon to the development of humankind on Earth, that the effect of the tides and as she was saying, as she was remarking so beautifully about the beauty and the nurturing nature of the moon, that how rare a situation is for, like, we wouldn't have life on Earth if it weren't for the presence of the moon there. And so it seems like very natural for us as humans to want to go there and leave our legacy there.
But before we go back to Lena, quick question for you. There's another launch, and I'm hoping to be on that beach when this launch occurs, or at Cape Canaveral. Tell us about the next launch, the exciting, what I call the DNA launch.
Right. Well, you know, it's an opportunity. There are several flights coming up over the course of 25, 26, and they each will be carrying payloads of cultural assets and the DNA of not just humanity, but also, you know, plants, animals. Likewise, compilations of human knowledge. People are contributing their books. Different indigenous cultures are sending their cultural history. And this is an opportunity for all Asgardians to be able to participate directly in these various flights that are coming. I can't say we don't have the specific launch vehicle and the specific date right at the moment, but the next one we're hoping to send more memorabilia about Asgardia along with our Asgardians and the human DNA bank. Where people from around the world have contributed, and a significant number of Asgardians are. And the good news is, as exciting as this lunch was, any Asgardian could also participate in the future in any of these ways. So that is the continuing legacy building of our endeavor here.
Just a couple of things, and then we'll go back to Lena, the Prime Minister of Asgardia, and her ministers. First of all, again, massive credit to you, Cheryl, for having the vision and the fortitude to get us this far. I really want to be there when the next Asgardia relevant launch occurs. And you also missed the most important thing. That DNA launch will have DNA from me, and that means that future generations can recreate me, and I can be chair of Parliament forever. On that humble note, let me go back to Lena. I think, incidentally, that it's likely that in 7 minutes the next significant event occurs. I think it's T+58. Apologies if I've got that wrong. Back to the much more modest Lena.
First of all, I would like to ask my colleagues to change the screen view. We have the possibility to watch a piece of us and a piece of NASA TV. And momentarily switch to the broadcast when it's explained. We can follow it. And so we're switching to double screen for the broadcast. Thank you for arranging this possibility. We have still few messages in recording, but first I would like to ask Jakob Mulder, Asgardia's Minister of Manufacturing, to say a few words about the pilot projects which he is already running in the ministry.
Yes, hello. Thank you, Prime Minister. Hello, everybody. I am Jakob Mulder, Minister of Manufacturing at Asgardia. And I'm very happy that we just saw this successful launch. And that's really Awesome. Very good. Asgardia, the space nation, is preparing humanity for living and working in space, and manufacturing obviously plays a serious role in that. The main goal of my ministry, that is Asgardia Ministry of Manufacturing Space, is to lay a proper foundation, sustainable, robust, secure, modular, agile, professional, and business focused, using the as a service methodology. The Ministry of Manufacturing focuses on collaboration, specification, architecture, and integration. The first step is to define standards to support collaboration. The Asgardia Institute of Standards, Space, defines such standards. And a second one, the Institute of Asgardia for the Assurance of Compliance and Quality, Aquia.Space, checks the products and organizations against those Asgardian standards. A next step is to standardize the way of working during projects and programs. The Asgardia Project Coordination Institute, APCI.Space, provides this and assists groups with their project proposals, business cases, return on investment, and so on. This results in robust and professional projects, making collaboration between projects easier. Once projects are on their way and product components and services are being created, the Asgardia Manufacturing Integration Approach, AMIA, will help actual manufacturing and integration. AMIA will be specified by the Institute of Promotion and Facilitation of the Asgardia Manufacturing and Integration Approach, IPFAMIA.Space. A space colony will not simply be a city in space, but it will also need logistics services, energy services, manufacturing services, safety and security services, habitat services, and so on. And there should be more of those cities. The organization Swarm Architecture.Space is specifying such a sustainable space colony swarm architecture. Exciting activities and inspiring goals. So join Asgardia to help pave the road to living in space.
Thank you very much, Dan. Again, I'm being advised that we're some minutes away from the second burn and lander separating, so we will be watching this carefully, and we might pause at any minute just to see how this is happening. And in the meantime, back to Lambert.
Yes, so a warning there. We might suddenly just move to the live feed. So Rebecca, just literally go to the live feed, which I think will be in about 3 minutes. I'm thinking it will be in about 3 minutes. 1 point for you, Cheryl. You probably know that Firefly, the mission control, is in Austin, Texas, not far from you, actually. So you can always drop in there and say, I'm from Asgardia. No doubt they'll give you a standing ovation for that. A couple of observations for me. My grandfather was an astronomer, Ernst Julius Eppich. He was involved in the moon missions, the Apollo moon missions. And for those who are doubting, yes, the moon does exist. And yes, we did go to the moon. And because he told me, and he's not a liar. And I remember as a small child, one of my earliest memories is watching the moon landings in probably the early 70s, really. You probably remember them from then. I felt a lot of nostalgia when I was watching this one launch. The difference is that thanks to Cheryl, there will be literally a part of us going to the moon. And I've got Angelina and Maria, my children, they'll be on there as well. And that means that I'm pretty sure when we populate the moon, where that life ship lands will be a monument. It'll be a protected area, and our descendants will go there, I think, and say, it's great grandfather's DNA is in there. That's exciting. It really is. Question, just a quick question. I know that you have Michael Chirino also, and Jennifer Gligerich, who's responsible for digital assets here, so they might want to speak as well, though I suspect that'll probably be after the next burn now, which could be any minute. Just a really quick question for Sarah. Sarah, you're responsible for finance How much money do we need to get people to go to the moon?
That is a genuinely good question to which I do not have an answer. I would direct you to the Minister of Finance for any such queries.
Make something up. I think it's $10 billion. That's what I think, but I've got no way to back that up. There we go.
I was about to say some billions more than we have right now to invest into it.
That's true.
We are focused on the research which is dedicated to achieving our core mission, birth of the first human child in space. And let me reiterate, that means artificial gravity, radiation protection, and human embryology. And we have succeeded in the past 2 years in operating some experiments in cooperation with Institute of Biomedical Problems, where 2 Asgardia residents, medical doctors, were part of the long-term isolation study. The project is called Sirius, and there the issues of female health and long-term isolation were studied.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Lena. I can see from the screen that something is happening. Can we go to the NASA feed, please?
Administrator Pam Melroy for being here. You are with the outgoing administration. Your time at NASA, we really appreciate your leadership here and all that you've done and coming to these launches and being a part of these launch broadcasts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daryl. It's a great way to go out.
Absolutely. Thank you, Pam. All right. Well, let's go now to SpaceX in Hawthorne, California, where Jesse Anderson is live as we await that second burn. Jesse.
Thanks, Daryl. And we are actually currently, as you can see on your screen, in that second burn, SES-2, here right now. This burn is a very short burn. And we've got live views of the NVAC engine there ignited on your screen, again carrying the 2 lunar payloads on Falcon 9's second stage. This burn will last just over a minute long. And this MVAC engine, the thrust on the MVAC engine is about 220,000 pounds of thrust. So even though this burn is only a minute long, it provides a lot of thrust for the vehicle to carry those payloads to its targeted drop-off orbit.
Sorry to interrupt you
there. 3 burns that were in for the MVAC
Lena,
engine.
that was quite exciting. It looks like it's been a
today.
successful second burn. And
We are coming up on
we're going to the
We have just had SES-2 and SECO-2. That's the same.
Let's stay with NASA for now.
Just a few minutes from now. Now, if you're just now joining us, we have just had SES-2 and SECO-2. That's the second of 3 burns for the MVAC engine. And it's been a great launch so far. Next, we have the deployment of Blue Ghost coming up here in just about 4 minutes from now. And once deployed into a lunar transfer orbit, the Blue Ghost lander will begin its approximate 45-day journey to the moon, where it will land on the Mare Crisium for NASA's payloads to perform numerous science and technology demonstrations, including lunar subsurface drilling, sample collection, and X-ray imaging of Earth's magnetic field to advance research for human missions on the moon and provide insights into how space weather impacts the planet. So very exciting coming up here. Again, Blue Ghost deployment is coming up in just under 4 minutes from now. And just to recap the mission so far, we had an on-time liftoff at 1:11 a.m. Eastern Time. And everything has been proceeding nominally. We had a good stage separation, which occurred about 2.5 minutes into flight. That was followed by a successful landing of Falcon 9's first stage on a drone ship. Just read the instructions. And that was also the 5th flight and landing for the specific booster that supported tonight's mission. And for those of you following along
Cheryl.
That booster also supported NASA's Crew 9 mission, RRT-1, as well as 2 other Starlink missions. Now, just before the T+8 minute mark, we had a successful second engine cutoff for SECO-1, and that was also followed by a confirmation of a
Cheryl,
good orbital insertion. And that
I'm
was
not
the
sure what
first burn of the
we're
second
broadcasting
stage
at the
engine.
minute,
The
but
second one,
we
again,
should stay
just
with
completed
NASA for
just
the
a
next
few
couple of
moments
minutes,
ago.
I suggest.
Now, the vehicle is currently coasting with the payloads attached. And we are a couple minutes away from the first deployment of our first spacecraft. Again, that will be Blue Ghost. And there you can see an awesome live view of the Blue Ghost spacecraft on board Falcon 9's second stage. So we do have 2 payloads on board. But again, the next milestone coming up is that separation of Firefly's Blue Ghost landing. And we're just about 2.5 minutes from deploy of Blue Ghost. And this is a cool view. We do have the canister just below that spacecraft protecting iSpace's payload there. So we do have 2 payloads on board. But again, the next milestone coming up is that separation of Firefly's Blue Ghost lunar lander. Once again, there you can see a live view of Blue Ghost there on your screen, still attached to Falcon 9's second stage, anticipating deployment. Just as a reminder, once Blue Ghost is deployed from Falcon 9's second stage, it will have about a 45-day journey on its way to the moon, and then it will have about 14 days of lunar surface exploration. So this is a pretty exciting mission. Very excited to see the spacecraft begin its journey here in just about a minute and a half. And once again, there you can see a live view of Blue Ghost there on your screen, still attached to Falcon 9's second stage. We're anticipating deployment in just about a minute from now. I'm getting some really awesome, cool views. This is looking aft at the MVAC engine with a beautiful Earth in the background. These lunar missions are really cool because the Falcon 9 vehicle gets to get really far away from Earth, and we get these awesome Earth views. We are approaching deployment of Firefly's Blue Ghost here in just about 30 seconds. With these live views that you're seeing here, we should be able to get a really good view of deployment here coming up in about 10 seconds or so.
Firefly Blue Ghost, separation confirmed.
And there you could see, and you also heard the call out for confirmation that Blue Ghost is drifting away from Falcon 9's second stage. From all of us here at SpaceX, it has been a pleasure having you on board, Blue Ghost. Safe travels. SpaceX is honored to be a part of NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services initiative to deliver science and technology to the lunar surface. And we want to thank Firefly for entrusting us with today's historic mission.
Let's go back to our discussion here. Welcome back to Asgardia. Rebecca, if we can come back to our team here to review what we've seen. First of all, I will come back to you, Cheryl. I'm not trying to make this the Cheryl Gallagher show, but you did deserve great credit. thanks to you now, Asgardia's symbols of nation are further away from the Earth than they have ever been, and traveling faster than they have ever been. I give you the chance to share your views about this significance of this, and then back to Lena and her ministers. Cheryl.
It's hard to adequately express the depth of feeling about, what it means for us in this initiative to be endeavoring to do what we're doing and setting an example for the future. And our intentions for a safe, peaceful, sustainable existence as a community in the cosmos. And that I'm so happy that it made it safely, and that we made it through. We've learned a lot through this journey over the course of the year while developing this project, and it's been a project that's brought us all together in a really meaningful way on a very special day. So that's how I feel about it.
A day made possible by the vision of yourself and also of Dr. Igor Asgardia, the founder of Asgardia, without whom we wouldn't be here at this time of morning or night. And I noticed that the Firefly headquarters is very near you in Austin, Texas.
It's not very far away from me at all. Right in the area, and I pass by their facility regularly. So, and we also have a pretty substantial SpaceX presence here in Austin, Texas.
Together with the snakes.
Yeah, not here. Here is at ground zero of the launch in Cape Canaveral, but back home in Austin, Texas, yes, but we have a significant space community growing there.
I hope that perhaps Dr. Asgardia, the founder of Asgardia, might even be able to pay a visit at some point, if it's feasible, to the mission control, which is taking his vision to the moon. Back to you, Lena. You're on mute.
I was too disciplined for when we were broadcasting NASA. Thank you, Cheryl. I was saying that it's an inspiration to see how Cheryl looks at this, the point of a person who achieved something, which once it's done, there is no way back. It's an excellent day of the night, or middle of the day or middle of the night, wherever we are. I'm totally lost. Next, a recording I would like to ask my colleagues to play is from Live Ship CEO Ben Haldeman, because actually it's also due to cooperation with him that Cheryl brought us to this fantastic endeavor.
LifeShip is one of many organizations that are imagining a bright future in space. And with LifeShip, it really is a way for anyone to actually be part of space missions. And this like seed of hope, and people can put their hopes, their dreams, their wishes, their DNA, their stories, their photos. You can do custom art and put art on board. And so really we're this seed of hope, and seed that could be used to create a new world someday out amongst the stars. And so I believe it's a beautiful vision and a mission that people can unite around. And really, like, I think that a future where humanity goes on to be a galactic species, and a future where humanity goes on to leave a legacy of rippling life across the galaxy, and the story of humanity gets remembered. We don't just burn out with the sun one day and disappear. Like, I think that's a beautiful, uniting, big picture vision for our species and the legacy of our planet. And so that's what we're dreaming up and making it participatory and accessible for anyone to be part of. Space is something that unites us. Space is something that helps us dream bigger and connects us with the cosmos, the universe, who we are, why we're here, where we come from, where we're going. We're in space now. Space is an opportunity to imagine, to dream a better future, a bright future for humanity, a bright future for life in the universe, and believe that's the story we're living, is the story of humans remembering our connection with nature, remembering our connection with the universe, uniting around beautiful futures. And I think space provides the seed of opportunity.
Thank you. We are back on. And I would like to ask Jennifer Gligorich, Minister of Equity and Resources, also to share with us her experience of watching this moon launch today with everybody and the progress the ministry is making in settling in outer space.
Well, first I want to say congratulations to Cheryl and thank you for all the hard work you've done, because now we all get to experience this incredible event together, and you were the impetus, the spark that just made this all happen, and it's just absolutely incredible. And seeing you now, you looking a little tired, it's just so much, and know that you're going to have dreams of the moon and dreams of wonderful, wonderful things. But I've been in Second Life at the Digital Embassy of Second Life. We've had several dozen people come to it. We had some technical difficulties. I had to buy new TVs, like, you go to a store in this digital world, and I actually was able to talk to the creator and he helped me set it up. So there are all these little AVs, avatars running around and digital people helping to get this up, and it went up, and I'm hoping we can have other events in a much bigger party with the bigger thing when it actually comes down. But I do have some pictures of that that I'll be sharing in our government Telegram channel and to go out on different things. But as far as equity and resources go, we are looking at digital realms and different ways that we can reach out to people. And this is a big step, being able to go to the moon like this, and then everything that Bendel's doing and the Minister of Finance. I feel in some ways we're kind of, we're all hand in hand, and there's many, many, many different steps. But when I first started as a member of parliament years ago, before becoming a minister, this would be, everything we're doing now would be pie in the sky in some ways. And the fact that this has happened relatively soon, when you think about it, in the creation of a digital nation, is just a testament to the power of each individual person and people like Cheryl, who have brought, such energy and creativity and impetus to make this happen. So again, Cheryl, congrats and thank you, because of you, I would never have my DNA going to the moon or my biography and things like that. So I'm watching it, thinking about my digital information in this polymer or super acrylic, whatever that's called, that's going to last for 1 billion years, and feeling like a rock star, little old me. And I think that that's awesome. So along with all of my Asgardian friends and colleagues. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Jennifer. I appreciate all the esteem of my colleagues, and that esteem is very much returned. None of this would be possible if we weren't all working together. So, that's really how I think about it. And, actually, I got to speak to the person that was designing the radiation pyramid, the pyramid that is mounted on the Blue Ghost lander, and he was talking about some of the metallurgical components that he was had to include in order to work on that, how to make it all possible for us to be sending our things in the first place. I really appreciate the opportunity, and it's an important statement of the importance of taking initiative, and that's one of the strongest things about us as a team is going out and taking the initiative. And I really admire. I wish our Asgardians right now could see your Second Life embassy, because it's really quite impressive, and it would be lovely if we had one in this life as well. And
We're working on it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're working on, and being able to share that with everyone, anyone who cares to participate on planet Earth, or on or off planet Earth now. So thank you very much for your kind remarks.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. We still have a couple of greetings which were sent to us by our colleagues. So now I would like to ask to play the greeting from Mr. Ugur Aydin, who is the chair of Culture Committee in Parliament, the close colleague of Cheryl Gallagher, who is the Minister of Culture in the Cabinet.
We all had a common dream, going into space, establishing new colonies, and even being born.
Bunu başarmaya o kadar yaklaştık
These are
ki
about to cease to be dreams
yakın bir zamanda
Asgardia will soon leave this world for a moon mission with an important
bazı
cargo
parçaların yer
representing
aldığı bir
humanity,
kargoyla
opening
ay
the door
yüzeyine
to a
gidecek.
new life force.
Artık hayal
Join us to
olmaktan
become an
öteye
Asgardian,
geçtik
to
sayılır
be
arkadaşlar.
an Asgardian citizen,
Bunun
and
için
to be a
çok
part
mutluyum.
of the future,
Bu nedenle
and
bizi
to be
takip
involved
etmeye,
in the
bizimle
Asgardia
kalmaya,
moon
bize
mission.
dahil olmaya
One
hepinizi
humanity,
davet
one
ediyorum.
unity, viva Asgardia.
One humanity, one unity, viva Asgardia diyorum. Çok yaşa Asgardia.
And we now will hear a couple of words from Michael Quirino, who is the Minister of Safety and Security. Michael, your turn, please.
Thank you very much. Just want to congratulate everyone. Let me turn the audio off. There we go. Just want to congratulate everybody, and Cheryl, of course, all the hard work you've done. It was amazing to watch that liftoff, and going to follow the progress of that as it continues. And just congratulations to everybody. It was really quite an event, and it's amazing to really see it go off like that. So it's great. Congratulations all around.
Thank you, Michael. I would like to remind all our viewers that in the Parliament and in the government, we operate in 12 areas. So safety and security, of course, is an extremely important area for our digital, first in the world space digital nation, Asgardia. We still have one more greeting to play. Our close colleague, a former AMP, Egbert Edelbrook. He is the chair of Spaceborne United, a company which is working towards achieving birth in space, and we're cooperating with this company. So I would like to ask to play greeting from Egbert, and then we come back to our studio.
Hello everyone, this is Egbert from Spaceborne United. We congratulate Asgardia for today's historic event, sending the national assets to the moon. Spaceborne is pleased to also be flying to the moon on the same flight. I'm very happy for the Asgardia family celebrating this historic event. Very warm wishes from the Netherlands.
Thank you very much. So we have heard from our colleagues who could not join us in person, but could not stay away from being part of this event. You today were with us. Asgardia, the first in the world history space nation, founded and led forward by Dr. Igor Ashurbeli in his vision to preserve humanity in eternity in the universe by achieving birth of the first human child in space. Today in the studio were Lembit Opig, the Chair of Parliament of Asgardia, myself, Lena Devina, Prime Minister of Asgardia, and a few colleagues. And now I suggest we all share a few last words before we bid goodbye for today's magnificent day.
I want to thank you, Lena. I want to thank all of my colleagues in Parliament, and of course our government colleagues as well in what's been an exciting 2 hours, and I have to say, a faultless launch by Falcon. Big thank you to Elon Musk for inventing the company that is taking Asgardia to the moon. In 45 days' time, we will broadcast again as we watch the exciting and I suppose still perilous final stage of the landing, when hopefully Asgardia will have its first lunar presence. As Lena says, and many of us have repeated, this has all happened because Dr. Igor Asher-Bailey had the vision and the courage and the generosity of spirit to invest in the future of all humankind. In the words of our motto, for one unity and one humanity. Thank you to Cheryl Gallagher, who was clearly moved, and that moved me too, as we saw Asgardia take to space again, for more than the second time, because Asgardia has also been represented on the International Space Station. But even as we speak, Asgardia has gone further into space than it ever has done before. Those of us who have invested in the next launch will be honored and excited and perhaps nervous as well to see our DNA going to the moon. I want to thank our colleagues today who have organized the technical aspects of this, and in a minute I'll give the last word to Cheryl. But more than anything, I want to thank you for having faith in Asgardia, just as we have faith in the goodness of the human race. We're here for a reason, and part of that reason is to explore and to inhabit. And I hope that in generations to come, people will look back at these days of history, of which we are a part, and where we aren't just observers, but we are players in the future of all humankind. Last word to you, Cheryl.
Thank you most kindly. And thank you to everyone who's been watching here today, and as well as all my parliamentary and ministerial colleagues. And thank you for your esteem and kind words. But really, it's all of you that are inspiring me to take that initiative and encourage through our mutual endeavors humanity to choose to live in community, to choose to live as into our future in the most positive way that we could possibly evolve and truly grow in our in an atmosphere of community instead of competition and difficulty and argument and things like that. The fact that we're able to work together, I mean, it's been, what is it that for all of us, it's been since 2018, and we've gotten to here. And it's been an amazing experience. So I'm really glad that tonight went very well, and I'm looking forward in 45 days for a successful landing, and then we will be present on the lunar surface for the foreseeable and maybe the unforeseeable future.
Thank you, Cheryl. We'll no doubt have another event of this nature in 45 days' time, as Asgardia travels to the moon at a leisurely 300 kilometers an hour. Some cars do more than that. And hopefully that means we'll get a safe landing too. Thank you to Prime Minister Lena de Winne and the ministers. More than anything, thank you, as I said before, to you all over the world for joining us. And all speed to Asgardia's symbols of nation going to the moon. You've been watching Asgardia celebrating a great initiative brought to you by Dr. Igor Asher-Bailey and created in material fact by Cheryl and everyone else who's been here today. Do join us. We meet every Thursday as a Parliament informally. You can watch that too at about 1800 UTC. And also join Asgardia. It's not expensive, but the contribution you can make to the future of all humankind is priceless. With that, we can stop the broadcast. And until next time, one unity, one humanity. I'm Len Topic. This is Asgardia.